Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the third episode of the Connor Quest log. Mark is eating chocolate. Freeced is here.
You didn't need to tell them.
Well, some people already know, because we're actually doing this one live. So, this is a live take.
I really like the phrasing there that Mark is eating chocolate and Freeced is here, which implies that Mark may be elsewhere eating chocolate and not on the podcast.
I mean, he is elsewhere in comparison to you.
That's true. Meanwhile, you two are together. You're feeding him chocolate, I see.
Yeah.
It's very,
Just,
for everyone actually tuning in live, it's a very sensual experience.
Absolutely. It's an aphrodisiac after all.
and I did say last time I nearly said on last week's episode. That's not accurate. On the last episode, I said something along the lines of episode 3. I'll have an intro and I'll have this snappy intro that we can go through. Every episode will have the same intro that I can go. I have nothing.
Why does that not surprise me?
With such a quick turnaround, it makes sense that you wouldn't have time to think of anything yet.
Yeah, you're right. It's only been a month.
Look, we had a little bit of a hiatus just because shit got busy.
Oh, I see. I really appreciate you taking over a month-long break from your podcast because I broke my wrist. Just out of solidarity.
Overshadow.
That was really nice of you.
Club, But yeah, let's get into the meat of the podcast, the real meat and potatoes, which is fitting because Freeced, what kind of food do you like?
Oh,
Not this again.
This is what Schwabby, this is
Can't
what you
open
get.
every podcast.
This
with
is what you get for not
Of
having your
course I
own
can.
intro. If you would just come up with something. I heard you complaining on Divide's episode about this, and then you didn't care enough to come up with something better. Here's the thing. I love this question. I could talk about this all day.
It's classic. It's classic, the food section.
A question that I usually ask people on meeting them is, what's your favorite salad dressing? I feel like that says a lot about a person.
Well, out of curiosity, what is your favorite salad dressing?
It depends. For an actual salad, probably blue cheese, but for other applications, most likely ranch.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. And what about food that isn't in liquid form?
Food that isn't in liquid form. Probably I don't know. I'm big on sushi. But if I'm just
Hell
going
yeah.
a go-to, it's probably just a straight up New York style pepperoni pizza. I think that's my go-to.
Nice. Any other food? Any other food, or shall we move on to another interview question?
How long can I keep you talking about food? The whole episode?
Oh, forever. You could keep me talking about food forever. It's just until Mark gets sick of it, essentially.
What's your favorite orange-flavored food that isn't a dessert?
Ooh.
You like an orange chicken, maybe?
Well, see, I've never had, duck à l'orange, but I would really like to try it because I love duck.
I think you cleared your throat for a second there. You've never had what?
Duck à l'orange.
That happened again.
Duck à la orange.
A la orange. There we go.
Yeah, so I'd like to try that. Orange savory isn't much that I've had, honestly. Unless you would count a fruit, but I think they count as sweet, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think
Yeah.
orange counts, an orange counts as a dessert if you're an orphan in Dickensian times. But otherwise, I think it counts as a health food.
Uh-huh.
Okay, well, here's an interesting question for you, Freeced. I obviously know that you've been a sort of a long-time nerdcore fan, much as me and Mark have. How far back does that kind of fandom for you go, and who's the first person that you remember listening to? Because it may be even further back than us.
Okay, so nerdcore, as in nerdcore rap. That's hard. That's a little bit hard to pin down because the first thing that I heard that I would say is okay, yeah, this counts as a nerdcore rap would be probably White and Nerdy by Weird Al, which is kind of it's not exactly in the nerdcore genre in the same way as some old MC Frontalot would be. but it's still like it's very much like in that vein. And I was like super into that. Other than that, it was probably when I was like 13 or 14. That would have been like it happened around the same time I was discovering like the pony music scene back in the day. Mm-hmm. So like
horse music, as I like to call it.
Horse music, yeah.
Horse music.
So those artists like Mike the Microphone and like I Bring the Lulz, who I think people would be more likely to know Lulz these days. But
IBDL,
like,
for the general market, yes.
Yes.
And from there, I got into like nerdcore that wasn't like horse music. So that was like Beefy, Cool Z, Schaefer the Dark Lord, MC Frontalot, Kabuto the Python. So like it's been like almost 10 years for me that I've been into nerdcore in some form.
So that's some of those people I've never even heard.
Oh, and you know what?
So
like if you count like epic rap battles, then it goes back even further.
Yeah, as well.
Like literally like from the moment those started coming out.
It's interesting that you said Weird Al. Because like when you think about it, it's like, yeah, that ticks all the boxes to be classified as nerdcore, but like
it really does.
Nobody does classify it, right? But like it's like it kind of is.
Well, so like I remember in your episode with Divide, you were talking about how like nerdcore is kind of like or started out specifically as rap. Did Divide say that, or I don't remember who said it?
Yeah, I think Divide said that.
Somebody said that, and like I kind of disagree with that a little bit. I think that like the term nerdcore, if you consider it being like coined by MC Frontalot, like it describes like hip hop, but I think you could say a band like Nerf Herder.
I've never heard of them, but the name alone informs me.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So they're like a I guess punk rock or like pop punk, like rock band, and I think I'm pretty sure they were around like, if not before like nerdcore hip hop, like pretty close to so 1994. So kind of like in the area of like the beginning of nerdcore.
Okay. Then what about someone like Jonathan Colton?
Yeah, I mean
completely different from hip hop nerdcore stuff, but he has songs like
I mean like Chiron Beta Prime, like if that's not a nerdcore song, like I don't know what else to call it.
Red Shirts, that's entirely just a song from the point of view of a red shirt from Star Trek. It's like,
and you've got
that's
tons of
nerdcore,
bands, right? You've got tons of. I think a lot of people like only really know nerdcore hip hop or like anime rap, or at least like I think maybe people who are super into that side of nerdcore just don't realize like how much other stuff there is. So like here locally in Indy, we have like 3 different bands I can think of that are not hip hop bands. They're all rock bands, and they're all like nerdcore. So we've got the Shake Ups, who do songs about like cartoons mostly. We've got a 5-Year Mission, which is pretty self-explanatory. And then we've got the Yavin 4, which is obviously Star Wars. And those are all like, they're all definitely nerdcore.
Because a lot of the discussion you see in comment sections and Discord servers right now, and even on podcasts, is people saying nerdcore is no longer this thing. It's branching out. It's harder to define. It's like, I feel like it's always been like that. It's just that the term nerdcore was coined and was used specifically to talk about this one thing, this one style.
Yeah. Also, I think that there was like early on there was a specific nerdcore sound too. That was like it was very like if you listen to like the like MC Lars's podcast where he like interviews a bunch of nerdcore artists, you kind of like start to get this sense that like early nerdcore, and if you go back and listen to that old like Cool Z and like beefy stuff I was talking about, where like it comes out of sort of 80s 90s classic hip hop, and then it adds like a digital sound, like a digital element to it.
Yeah.
Sort of like if you took sort of the like internet savvy of something like soldierboytellhim.com, but then you mixed it with more of like the lyrical and instrumental stylings of like 90s gangster rap. Really, I think had a huge influence on early nerdcore.
Yeah, no, I can totally see that. Listening to a lot of old,
prominent at the time. So.
Yeah, the old stuff. It's definitely like that, like boom bappy 80s hip hop. Basically, what every white person in the 90s thought rap was.
Right. Well,
is what old nerdcore sounds like.
Yeah, like if you listen to like Mega Ran, I think you get a lot of that like 80s boom bap, because you know he's somebody who definitely like came out of that, and when he started producing, like had that sound. If you listen to somebody like Whitey Cracker, I think it's more influenced by like the 90s like West Coast gangster rap.
Mark Cooper is like someone who's still doing that kind of a very old school style of nerdcore. Yeah,
I think it's like really cool to see where everybody's different influences come from in nerdcore. It's interesting for me, and like I don't know if I'm perceived this way in nerdcore, but to me, I feel like I'm part of like the new wave of nerdcore. You know, this sort of like anime rap thing, as far as like the community. But then like when it comes to my like style, like my influences, it's very much the same as that older type of nerdcore where it's like heavily like boom bap influence and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think that just depends on, like you say, what you initially grew up with. I mean, I didn't necessarily grow up with much, shall we say, like 90s influence and that, which is why, I mean, I grew up mainly on Eminem and grime. So my style is kind of completely out of whack from that kind of like really, really old style, which is why you might say that my stuff kind of sounds a little more skippy or technically influenced and faster sometimes, just because that was the style I knew. That was what I like. What I tried to emulate.
For me, I only really got into rap and hip hop kind of the last 4 or 5 years. So it's a lot of modern stuff is my biggest influence, with like the big rise of trap music and that kind of stuff, and trap metal.
Melodical.
Yeah.
Stylistically, I guess puts us in like the 3 little tiers of the nerdcore stylings, I guess.
Yeah.
You got the more modern, you got the old school, and you got the kind of the mid range of kind of like a weird mix of both.
Yeah. Well, I have kind of like a question for y'all, like if those are like your rap influences for nerdcore, like what other sort of like non-rap or like non-hip hop musical influences do you think have like influenced the sound or like the sort of like philosophy of the music that you make, like whether it's like hip hop or not?
Mark, do you want to take that first?
Well, hip hop wasn't my first venture into music, so one of my biggest early influences was Mumford & Sons, Fleet Foxes, some of these like indie rock, folk, and acoustic pop bands.
And Johnny Cash, right?
Johnny Cash was the first thing I ever learned on guitar was a Johnny Cash song, The Man Comes Around. Yeah, it's kind of country, bluegrass, British folk, and that kind of stuff. Were the biggest influences in me getting into music in the first place. But I'm not sure how much of that really carries over. Besides, like, I guess I have a big focus on, a lot of the times, melodic elements, and I like melodies a lot. There tends to be, there's a lot of music within, like, newer hip-hop and trap that focuses on percussion and bass without much melody. You hear that in a lot of smaller artists that are trying to get into nerdcore right now. They're influenced by that, and I avoid that because I'm a big fan of melodic structures and chords and harmony. So I think that's that influence coming over.
That's something that I see, and maybe for the same reason, in some of like Lil Nas X's stuff. I don't know if you've heard his new single Holiday, but I was just listening to it, and like he really cares like a lot about the like the melody and the sort of phrasing of his songs in a really interesting way that seems to be influenced a lot by like, you know, country music and folk.
Yeah, he really sits in a bubble of like that in between space between like pop and hip hop. Yeah, which I'm quite a big fan of. I really like that fusion.
In that song, he has a line where he says something like I'm a pop artist, but I get respect from rappers or something like that.
Yeah, well, because the previous to that, kind of the late 2000s, early 2010s, pop rap kind of sucked. You get Kendrick Lamar doing a verse on, what was that song? I can't remember, but it's just random rap verses on pop songs that just kind of sounded out of place or really lame.
You'd throw it to Ludacris, essentially.
Or Snoop Dogg.
Snoop Dogg. I mean, yeah.
He was one for it.
He was a shill in the late 2000s.
But it's Snoop Dogg, so you let him off.
Yeah, I would always let Snoop Dogg get away with that. He's Snoop Dogg. I feel like if he's earned it, I feel like if I hear anybody else doing like a half-assed rap verse on a pop song, I'm like, all right. Okay.
Yeah. It's really gonna bug me now. I can't remember what was that Kendrick verse that he did on a pop song. It was like huge.
I know he did. I know he did a verse for The Lonely Island.
It definitely wasn't that.
Yeah, that was before I even knew who Kendrick Lamar was. Well, that was the first Kendrick Lamar I ever heard. Was his verse on the Lonely Island song about YOLO.
What a question within a question? What's everybody's favorite Lonely Island song?
It's got to be I Just Had Sex.
Okay, but what's your favorite Lonely Island song?
Come on, that is a classic though. Like
it's good.
I like that one not because of the song, but because of what it did.
Yeah,
like it was chart topping.
Oh yeah,
around like Halloween time, and it was just insane. It was hilarious to me, even at like the age of 11, and we were all just.
That's one that I can I feel like I can get in the car with like nearly any of my friends and like just blast that.
Yeah. Other than that, probably. Yeah. Other than that, probably Jizz in My Pants.
Okay, but what about your favorite song?
That's a classic.
All right, I'm done.
But what's wrong with these choices?
Okay, I threw it on the ground.
Okay,
that's them, right?
That's probably the first one that I.
Is that the name of the song? Threw it on the ground.
Yeah,
it is.
That's
it was for. I think
I'm
it was.
not a huge fan of that one.
It wasn't. I used to like it a lot more before I heard their other stuff, and then I was like, oh, they have better songs.
Yeah. I just with Lonely Island, it's not the kind of band that I can like listen to casually. You know what I mean? It's just the ones where the songs. It's not playlist material.
Situation would somebody listen to them casually? That's what I want to know. Like,
I just feel like there are some people who are like, you know what? I really like the musicality in it, so I'm just gonna
low finally Island to.
There he is. I can see him raising his hand.
Yeah, I had Lonely Island shit in my playlist.
That's what I'm
just
saying.
Come on, randomly.
And I can't do that. But like paired with a video as well, that song was funny as hell. And so is This Is the Tale.
That's my
of
favorite.
Captain Jack That's so good because that one's just so funny.
Michael Bolton on that song is better than Michael Bolton in any Michael Bolton song.
Yeah.
And that's not a dig on Michael Bolton. It's just he's so good on that song.
Did you find the Kendrick Lamar song, by the way?
I found out he was in a school. What was it, Schoolboy Q or whatever? That's not him. Yeah. That's not what I was looking for. But that's the only thing that's coming up for me.
He was also in a song that they did. Michael Bolton was also on a song that they did for Popstar Never Stop Never Stopping. Incredible Thoughts, I think is what it's called. Yeah, he's good on that one too. So, did you have other musical influences that influenced your sound? Did you think? Me,
I probably had a lot of nu metal. Influence.
Was that
was like
Linkin
a
Park?
huge wave for me. Yeah, Linkin Park. Linkin Park.
nasal white guys rapping over rock.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. I didn't really like their rapping stuff, honestly. I've never been an incredibly huge fan of Mike Shinoda. Never been a huge fan of his rapping style. I will just because I think the flow is very, very simplified, and I was way more interested in far more complex flow patterns. But in terms of like, emotional writing and actually, putting that in a song and making it work, it was fantastic. And then there was a lot of like heavier bands that I started to listen to as I got older, because I didn't like metal when I was a kid. I had friends in like primary school that were listening to Slipknot, and I was just like not into that at all. But then, I hit like kind of 14, 15, and I started to get angry. And I'm like, yeah, Slipknot is great. But surprisingly, I always when it comes to heavy metal bands, I always love their softer stuff, because I feel like the no pun intended, the duality.
Duality,
of it is
no.
incredible. Yeah, the duality of it is incredible. So like,
Then
Snuff is one of my favorite Slipknot songs.
I was going to say, did you listen to Stone Sour?
No,
Corey
I've never
Taylor's
listened to.
other-
I've never listened to any Stone Sours purely because I think then for me it's like, oh, that's what they're meant to be doing. That's what they're supposed to do. So it's like it's not as much of a like, whoa, this is super
fair enough,
different.
Fair enough. I was really into like rock and metal in kind of school.
And then also there was one band that I got really into called Beartooth.
Oh yeah,
And, Mark, I think I've shown you a couple of
they did
songs
the
from
lines,
them.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The lines, the in between. I mean, just that whole, I think it's Sick and Disgusting album was like, that was one of the first albums I could listen the whole way through. Like, there wasn't a hip hop album. And I would just have that blasted on repeat. There's just so many. I can't remember his name. The main guy. I know it's Caleb, but I can't remember his last name. He has such a versatile scream voice to where he can just sound like he's in pain, but it's still melodical.
Love that.
And I think it's fantastic. And like he'll put in. I mean, there's one song where he's just fucking crying.
Yeah, you
Like,
played
he's
that
just
to me.
crying
I remember. I was
yeah.
like, wow.
Yeah, there's an even worse one than that, Mark. But you know that one he just kind of throws it in at the end. But there's like basically like a song where an entire verse is just him sobbing into a mic while screaming, and it's so like fucking it's just like the most dirtiest fucking like death metal instrumental behind it as well. It's just like almost hard to listen to, but I think that's the point.
Yeah.
And the song is called Disgusting, so it makes sense. But yeah, they were big influence on me. Whether that translated to my music or not, I think is kind of null and void, because I think they just still had impact on me to regardless make music, because I just thought that it sounded cool. And when I eventually did want to make that kind of music, like my Eskimo song and that, I obviously revisited them, looked at some Avenged Sevenfold and things like that. They were a big influence on the Eskimo song, actually.
I think it's definitely apparent, like just in the amount of emotion, and like kind of like like emotional vulnerability. I think that shows up in a lot of your songs. I know you've like talked about before how you like initially had trouble writing kind of about your own feelings or like your own emotions, but it was easier to like put it in the frame of it being like from a character's perspective.
Yeah.
But I think that like that, I can see that that influence for sure.
Yeah, maybe from a more emotional standpoint then, on like actual writing.
Yeah.
That's where that comes from. Yeah, that's a good shout, actually. I mean, yeah, I still feel like I struggle with that a lot. I don't feel like a lot of my stuff is really emotional, and that's actually just generally one of the reasons I got into nerdcore in the first place, because I didn't have to be that. Or if I did have to be that, I had the story planned out from the perspective of another character that I could just pull from. Because like realistically, I didn't have a lot going on in my life other than just being a bit sad. But I didn't even realize I was a bit sad, because you know, you don't really understand your mental health when you're 15, 16 as well as you would when you're in your 20s. So maybe that's probably just general growth as a person is why that is coming out more so now. I do actually have a song out in the new year, which is highly emotionally driven. Probably will be my most emotionally driven and most obviously me, despite the guise of it in something else.
Exciting.
Yeah, I look forward to that.
Well, let's move away from sad things.
Yeah, Freeced just interviewed us for a second. Can you
Yes.
wait, can you guys
Sorry, it's my it's my instinct.
Can anyone hear that?
Hear what?
Okay.
It's Impromptu, song to remember because I want you to remember a song. Are you ready for my brand new segment?
What's happening?
It's the
What's going
Impromptu song to remember because I want you to remember this song.
I knew you were gonna do this, and it still completely flew over my head.
I don't know what's happening.
I warned you last
I don't know
episode.
what's
I was going
happening.
to develop my own new segment and drop it on you without any warning, and here it is.
And you fooled me at the start by saying you had nothing.
Yes.
You lowered
fool.
my expectations.
Okay, here is
Oh
my brand new
God.
segment that has never been done before. I've never had this idea or ran it before, so we'll see how it goes. It's called the Impromptu Song to Remember, because I want you to remember the song.
Okay.
I am going to give you a lyric, and then you need to remember what the next lyric is from the song. It might
this
sound
just your
it
fucking
might
game
sound
show?
it might sound familiar. It is not Lyrical Miracle. Very few very good key differences. Number one, there's only one round instead of 5. There's no real points. You don't get any lifelines in this version.
Wait, are you doing one of mine too?
I am. Anyway, okay, so here is the here is what I want. It's and this isn't just me testing your lyrical knowledge. This is me giving you an impromptu song to remember because I want you to remember the song. Okay? Because it's a
Okay.
song that I like and I want to talk about this song, okay?
All right.
So,
all right.
here is the lyric, okay? Let's start with Freeced, since he's the guest. Let's start with Freeced. Okay, Freeced,
Okay.
here is a lyric I want to give you, and I want you to tell me what comes after this.
All right.
The lyric is, Lima makes a monkey out of fools, I let the Kong hang.
Leave you in the graces of Azula when the gong rang.
Yes, sir! Yes, I love this
And then I
song.
put a gong in the track.
Gong, yeah. And on a related note, kind of quest line is, flame rotating with a... Oh, I can't. Flame rotating with a faint glow, moving with a slate stone.
Oh, flame rotating with the faint glow, moving with the slate stone. It rhymes with A-O. I know that. That's not a Tyler Cruise song.
I remember.
Is it something might make my brain slow?
That is the ending.
Or
There is a little bit before that, though.
Is it the ending? God, I know I'm not gonna remember this because this had that part had so many filler rhymes.
It had a ton of
Had
rhymes.
nothing to
The
do
flow
with it.
was so dope.
It
But
was-
the flow is so dope, and like I got the slate stone faint glow shit, so I was happy, and then I was just like, now I just need to pad this up.
Freeced know it?
I don't know
does
if I know
Freeced
it
know it?
exactly. It's like something like moving like a halo, and then I think it's like something. I'll fight.
Moving
I'll
with
fight.
the slate stone, spinning like
Halo.
a halo,
About to make my
Spinning like
brain
a
slow.
halo.
Something.
about to make my brain slow.
I'll fight a traitor if they say so. Wait, my mistake, blown
traitor
it out
if
of
they say so.
proportion. This is an earthbound fortress. There is no war in.
There is no war. I love how he says that. Kind of
I
makes my
love
brain
that.
slow is the final line.
My favorite
Yes.
is I saw him heat up his teacup. That's my favorite.
Yeah, heat up his
rhyme
teacup.
from that verse.
Good. I just adore this song, and I want to take a moment to talk about it. That's what this segment is. Okay, it's got nothing to do with the lyrics. It's got all to do with
just
the song.
picking a
okay?
song.
Because you two work together in the song, and I want to know a little bit more about it. Exactly how involved in the process were you, Connor? Outside of that 16 bars, or was that kind of you were just given an instrumental and said, right?
Well, I had an early version of the beat, but even when that was sent to me, I didn't really have any pointers because I just loved it straight away. Just all the different like percussional elements and the fucking Foley water sounds that were on beat.
That was so hard to do.
It's
just
really good.
Oh,
It's
that
so
blew me
good.
away. That blew me away, honestly. Really, really good production on it, and like. Yeah, and then honestly, I struggled to write on it because of how like kind of different it was, and I definitely wanted to try and do it justice, especially with the story element as well. And I really like the idea of kind of being Jet but not being Jet at the same time, sort of not being too specific about, obviously I said the whole like saw him heat up his teacup thing, but it was never like I'm Jet. And then kind of taking more of a precedent of everyone that got brainwashed in that place.
Yeah.
Because obviously that's what they will have done to everyone, but obviously Jet's story was the setup for it. I really enjoyed writing it. Definitely. I did a few takes of that there is no war in because I wanted to get the fucking
Oh, it
like,
hits.
grit on it.
It hits.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm
Earthbound
very, very
Fortress,
happy
there
it
is
does.
no
I'm very
war in.
happy.
So good. Yeah, probably my favorite
Took me
song.
so long to get that final line as well, like the syllables to fit properly.
I love the way that you write your verses too, because like it's not like bar by bar how a lot of us write. It's you kind of write like little phrases however you want them to go, and then it just ends up fitting. I feel like
I write in rhymes.
Yeah.
I've always kind of realized this. I write in rhymes, so when a rhyme finishes, I'll write the next rhyme, continue, and then when the next rhyme comes on, because I don't know, I feel like when I write in bars, in my mind, I then can't see the flow. Weirdly, because it's almost like it's too blocked and too structured, and I also don't tend to finish bars on the bar beat. Sometimes I'll just keep fucking going and like spill over, and then for me, if I'm writing that, it's like it'll end in a half rhyme and then the rest of the rhyme will continue, and that confuses me, so I have to continue the line and then maybe have like 3 words next and then carry on. It's a weird system, but it's always
interesting. It's interesting because I've actually started doing more of that, not as severe as your system, but I write less and less in kind of 4-bar stanzas now.
It's like I don't know. I get the feeling looking at it like if you look at like I don't know, like some of Da Vinci's notes and they're all written like backwards with his left hand. You know, it's like they make sense to him.
Yeah.
I'm sure like
that's the thing.
His like genius brain like can unravel that because that's how it most naturally falls into place. But when I see it, I'm just like, what I do is I have a system of like hyphens and commas that represent like pauses and breaths. Because lots of times I have this thing where I'll write a line, and when I like write it, it goes to the beat perfectly, and then I'll like leave it. I'll come back to it, and I'm like, did I write it to this beat? Like, this doesn't go. This does not go.
Yeah.
So I have to try and like
that plenty of times.
Yeah, use like a code so I can remember. But like your style of sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was about to derail. Carry on.
Okay, so I just wanted to say real quick, like Coco, your style of writing has actually like influenced a lot of my newer stuff with like rhymes like going like over the bar line and stuff like that, which is something that I've like wanted to do more because like MF Doom, who's one of my biggest influences, did all the time. Yeah. And I've just never been good at it.
I think that all comes with my more modern practices. That kind of rhyme spilling over thing.
Yeah.
Whereas obviously, back in, pulling it back to all the 80s and 90s stuff, it was very 4-bar stanza, very
Yeah. But I think kind of a lot of modern hip hop needs to lose that stanza in the writing because, like you say, it kind of flows all over the place. But one thing I really want to ask about during this segment, we are still in my segment, by the way. Welcome. In case you forgot, we're during the impromptu song to remember, because I want you, Freeced, to tell me about the hook, because that just gets stuck in my head for days. Every single time I think about that song, I will then be thinking about the song for days afterwards. It's
which
crazy.
is apt, really.
A lot of people say that, and like that's to me one of like the biggest indicators I think that a song is like close to what I want it to be is when it gets stuck in my head, and when it gets stuck in other people's heads. So just that like opening line, just like, there is no war in bossing. Say like I think too, it's partially the melody, it's partially the like precise rhythm, and then it's also the like intonation. It's very like kind of droning. I definitely didn't sing it in like my normal singing voice.
And I was going to ask, actually, with the hook, was there any specific influence you can point to there? Because there's something to me that it sounds like Sonic, not like it doesn't sound like another song. I mean, like there's a song with a similar vibe that I'm like, I wonder if this was the inspiration. But I just want.
There was definitely like lots of times. Okay, two things. I'd say my kind of like overarching influence would be just kind of like a lot of Eastern sounding stuff in general, especially to go with the like instrumentation. If I had to pull one song, especially like in a similar genre, it's gonna be ZOG by
that was the exact song I was gonna say. Yeah, it's just that style of like almost droning singing with the two different octaves, and I was just like,
I was not
it's
sure
a
if
very
I could hit
very
those
cool
high
style.
Notes. when I wrote that, I was like, am I gonna have to like transpose this? But I really liked the key that like the parts I'd written were in, and the, like the loops that I found, and I was like, I'm just going for it, dude. And
I mean, It also fits like story-wise as well. It's just such a good way to kind of even put the whole feel of that story across in like a drony chant that's like you're kind of in some kind of hypnosis.
It's so good. It has like this droning, monotonous, almost like paranoid. It's like it's so weird because it's realistically relatively monotonous in terms of like melodically. But with like the intonation, the way that you perform it says a lot.
Well, so I actually use like in it. I purposefully use a legitimate hypnotic technique, which is just repeating phrases. So that's why "There Is No War in Ba Sing Se" repeats so often in the hook.
Yeah.
In that like very particular cadence, very particular melody is like I wanted it to carry that exact feeling, and I think I think it came out just like pretty much just how I wanted it to.
Very
Which
good,
I mean,
good.
you guys know the feeling of just like having an idea in your head and it actually coming out right, and not just having to like settle.
Those few times.
I had that recently with the Nagisa song because I thought that was gonna come out shit when I.
That's
had that
another
idea.
crazy song. I love that song so much.
I think it's the crazy ideas that when the crazy ideas work, they're like, because Ba Sing Se, that was ambitious. That was ambitious to try and get all of that to work, and it did.
Freeced, are you familiar with the Nagisa song by
I don't know if I've heard it yet.
It's got quite a similarly, I guess, droning, interestingly performed hook, which is just it's mesmerizing. And I wanted to ask real quick, Connor, how much of that hook is vocal and how much of it is instrumental? Because there are times where I can't tell what's synthesized and what's performed because they mesh so well, the instrumental and the vocals.
So none of the vocal chorus line has any connection to the melody of the beat.
Oh, right. Okay.
So the only real things there are the melody wise is the do 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 do. That's all that kind of a sampled chopped up thing, and obviously the do do do, and then it's all chopped up, and then there's the bass line. But everything that is the actual chorus is my voice, and I think I had 3 parts to it. I had a pitch down version, which was just obviously like I could never actually make that noise in real life. Then I had like a really like kind of gruff, whispery version, and then the higher, brighter one is me just really whispering it and tried to like also make my voice as powerful as possible whilst whispering.
Oh, okay.
So it's those 3 kind of elements, each with a 2 pan. Which I think expands it all around.
Because that's the thing is now that you've broken it down, it starts to make sense. But when you listen to it, you really can't pull those elements apart and tell kind of how it was performed. And I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. It just sounds kind of inhuman.
It honestly, the idea sprang out of fucking nowhere. Like, I didn't go into it like, okay, so this Nagisa song, I want to have like a whispery chorus. I was making the beat, and then I watched a TikTok where a guy showed how he has more powerful whispery vocal, and what he does is he lifts his neck up like that and sings into a mic.
Okay.
And that apparently opens your airway so that when you whisper, it's way more powerful than if you were doing it like this.
Now, both me and Freeced are both wondering the same thing. It's like, should we attempt that now? We're both silently, I really want to try that now.
Or you can
I'm gonna tip my head back like a penguin right now.
But yeah, and then I tried it, and I tried it just for the little kind of a little line that I did, and then I was like, that actually that sounds kind of good, and then I just started building on that, and it was really, really kind of spur of the moment, and then it came out very well. I was very happy with the beat as well. I think that's maybe one of my favorite beats I've done.
Well, I know what I'm doing right after we finish recording, because that sounds like something I really need to hear.
It's a good technique. It's a good technique.
I just remembered I'm not gonna try that whispering thing because I did almost lose my voice earlier. So
Yes, you okay?
yes.
You mentioned it. By the way, for clarity, my segment's finished. It's gone. Freeced, you mentioned just before we started recording that you had nearly lost your voice, and I'm desperate to know why.
Oh, it's nothing. It's just So I was doing this Randy Savage impression. Macho Man Randy Savage.
Yeah.
So there's this meme that I saw earlier that said, it was like a deep fried meme, and it was like, Darth Hogan isn't real, he can't hurt you. And then it's like Hulk Hogan and Darth Vader combined, and it's like I'm your father, brother. So then I did like a thing. I did a thing where I was Randy Savage as Luke. You want me to play that for you right now into the microphone? I have it.
Oh, I was waiting for Connor to give the go ahead there, because I was like,
This is gonna be the most
Let's go.
productive, 16 seconds of your life. Wait a minute. Here we go. Let's.
So this is you. This is you
me.
right now.
This sure is me. All right, here we go.
Well, I gotta say, I don't personally believe a single word out of Darth Hogan's mouth, man. Nah, my Jedi power detects something sour in the air. That's not true, man. No, that's just impossible. I don't buy it.
So yeah,
is this the speech he gives like when he's had his hand chopped off and he's against the
Yes.
railing in Cloud
That's the
City?
one.
Okay.
It's episode 5, Luke. And that's
Oh
so
my
I've been
God.
drinking.
And episode 3.
I've been
Freeced.
drinking tea and water for 2 hours before recording, just desperately trying to restore.
Trying to
So you
fix
really
it.
went all out.
I did.
Yeah. I'm
I
impressed.
just the
I'm
last line
genuinely
really
impressed.
got me there. It was, I just don't buy it. So good.
So sorry to derail with that.
No,
No, that's fine. That moves us
fine.
fantastically, actually, into our next segment, which is which
Yes.
WWE wrestler.
Whatever
No,
you're going to ask, I definitely have an answer for it because I've been fixated on WWE for the past week.
Unfortunately, the only thing I know about wrestling is kind of what I watched as a 12-year-old child in 2007. So beyond that, nothing.
What's the actual next segment?
The actual segment would have been a popular internet thing, but we've been going for quite a while already, and also I don't have one. So we're going to move right along into the anime and manga segment.
To be fair, nothing's been on the internet recently. I think everyone kind of decided
that
they
we
would
haven't talked about
stop
already.
using social media for a few weeks. So there hasn't really been any new posts. But next time, folks, next time...
I went to internet.com and it said 404.
Yeah, so, like I said, there's really
I went to
nothing
go watch
found.
some. I went to go watch some
error
Baby
message.
504 videos, and they were all just 404. They weren't even there.
Oh, they weren't even there.
Even the dinosaur game,
404.
the Google Chrome dinosaur game, the dinosaur was lying down.
Oh, bless him.
Firefox had left. It's just.
Why
fire.
is the
It's just
dinosaur
fire.
sleeping, Mommy? Why isn't the score going up anymore? Look away, sweetheart. Look away. Oh my gosh.
It's just cactus now.
Jesus. Right, well, anime and manga. The thing I have been seeing a lot recently on social media, so I guess we can call this an internet thing as well. We'll combine the two, why not? It's my show. Lots of new releases for 2021. Lots of new things. I've seen 5 trailers come out in the last week.
Can I name? Sorry, while this is on my mind, you've just reminded me. Yes, something that's came up for 2021 is the next My Hero movie, and I just before I forget it need to tell you what the tagline is. Have either of you seen the poster for the next My Hero Academia film?
I'm so far behind. I haven't. I've been trying to avoid seeing any new stuff for it.
Oh, then this is going to bewilder you just as much as it did me. The tagline for the next movie is, "He will meet the Three Musketeers."
No, it's not.
It is.
No.
That's the official tagline.
Hang
third
on.
movie.
Wait, are you sure you haven't confused this with the new Mickey Mouse, Donald and Goofy movie?
I'm
The
pretty
Oh,
sure.
wait a minute.
remake of the
Wait
Three
a minute.
Musketeers.
I think I know the confusion because in the UK, a Three Musketeers is what?
It's three men who have swords.
Right.
Yeah.
And here, a Three Musketeers
You're
is
not.
a chocolate surrounding
Chocolate. Yeah.
just nougat.
It's a Snickers, basically.
Right. Oh, so sorry. It was mistranslated. Any UK English, it's he will meet the Snickers.
The final battle against Mr. T.
Oh, no. Oh, do you guys have the Mr. T adverts?
Mr.
For
T.
Snickers in America?
Like Mr. T?
No, they must not, because they don't have Snickers. Because they don't have Snickers.
We have
So they must
Snickers
not
Snickers in
have-
America? There is Snickers in America.
Oh, you have. Oh, you must have the Mr. T adverts then.
We have.
I mean, there was the whole World of Warcraft campaign as well, so they have Mr. T.
The last thing that I saw Mr.
definitely
T
have Mr. T.
advertising was like for people not to do drugs in the 80s.
No, he comes through and he's like, Snickers, get some nuts.
Maybe. I don't watch TV. I only.
I hope.
Yeah.
I hope it's a Britain only thing. That would be so funny. Oh, I hope that's just for us.
The like British commercials that I know are like the Iron Brew ones.
Oh, do you know the Fanny
the
one?
Brew ones are good.
The what?
Oh, Fanny won't be. The Fanny advert won't be funny in America.
No, it
'Cause
would
Fanny
be
just
Fanny.
means bum.
Yeah.
Okay,
No.
Fanny in
Wait,
England
what?
means vagina, and there's
Vagina.
an advert. It's also a name, right? Fanny is also a name.
Right.
And there's an Iron Brew advert where.
Well, because here
they're like-
vagina is a name.
Okay, thank you. There's an advert for Iron Brew where it's a Scottish couple in the hospital after they've just had a child, and they're like, "What should we name her?" And the woman suggests, "How about Fanny?" And the man is taken aback because, as I've said, Fanny means vagina. So he takes a swig of Iron Brew, and she says, "Me ma was a Fanny, me granny was a Fanny," and he continues to drink the Iron Brew to calm his nerves. And then the nurse says, "Aye, Fanny sounds like a nice name." To which he replies, "Aye, Fanny." And that's the full advert. It's just like three Scottish people saying, "Fanny."
Why does
a
that
bunch
just
of
seem like a
times.
Limmy's show sketch?
It kind of does, yeah. But it's just hilarious.
Yes. Oh, that's amazing. Well, thank you, Mark, for bringing that to all of our attention. I look forward to seeing that film. That is one of the worst anime movie taglines I've ever heard.
He will meet the Three Musketeers.
You will meet the Three
What's
Musketeers.
eith-
I mean,
what's
it
actually
spoils
okay,
the ending.
Here's what's confusing is that the poster features Bakugo, Midoriya, and Todoroki stood in some what looks like new hero costumes, matching hero costumes, with the big number 3, kind of like like the Black Ops 3 logo, kind of
Did
to
we
that effect.
predict this movie
Did we?
with our trio rap?
Oh, but anyway,
Did we
right?
predict this movie?
I mean,
Are you
yeah.
in this movie? Are you the Three
But
Musketeers?
here's what's confusing me. Okay, the line is, he will meet the Three Musketeers. There are 3 people on the poster, Bakugo,
who's
Midoriya, and Todoroki. So
gonna
who is
meet-
he? Are the 3 Musketeers these 3 boys that we know, and he is someone else?
Must
It's
be.
Kingdom
I
Hearts.
reckon
'Cause-
he is the villain.
It's Kingdom
It's Kingdom Hearts.
Because when it
He
said
will meet
he,
Xehanort.
I assumed it meant Deku. But then it said 3
Yeah.
Musketeers, and there's 3 characters on the... It's just a mess. I don't know what's going on. But anyway, sorry,
Well-
Karen, you were talking about the other new releases that we might know slightly more about.
I mean, I'm now excited for that as well. But what other ones have you guys seen that you were excited for? I know what ones I've seen. Like I say, I've seen around 5 different ones, but I'll let you guys tell me what you're excited for. Series more so than anything.
I haven't really seen any trailers, but I heard that Chainsaw Man is being adapted next year, which is exciting because visually that looks very cool in the manga. I have no idea what it's about, but it's just a dude who is a chainsaw. So
Yeah.
I would be excited to get that animated. Also, Jujutsu Kaisen has already started the series. We're on episode 8 now, but that continuing into the next year, I'm very excited about that. I feel like that's really gonna take shape and take off in 2021, and I'm excited about that story.
Freeced yourself?
Yeah, you might have seen me typing furiously because I was trying to remember the name of this. So this is actually a little bit of a borrow from my Breakfast Club this week, where I talked to Luke, the composer, who works on like Haikyuu and stuff. And
Connor, just cut that out where he's mentioned his own podcast.
Wait, it's relevant.
Edit that bit out. Silence that bit. Okay.
Well, he told me about this anime that's coming out next year called Bakuten. That is, it's about a boys' rhythmic gymnastics team. So you know it's going to be like heartfelt, compelling. Like it's going to make you get into rhythmic gymnastics.
Yes.
What's really
absolutely.
interesting about this is that the Yuki Hayashi, who I assume is overall in charge of the music for it, got his start as a rhythmic gymnast. So like he was a rhythmic gymnast, and then he started composing because he didn't like using pre-made music, so he just started writing his own music for that.
Amazing.
And then
I like that.
And then he made like money in like college writing music for other rhythmic gymnasts. So like this whatever this show is like, the music is going to be like on point.
Phenomenal. Yeah.
So I don't know to what like extent, like I assume that he has to be associated with it. But
yeah. I mean that would make sense.
That's exciting.
So I'm excited for that. I'm just excited to get into another new sport that I had previously absolutely no interest in whatsoever.
That I had no idea existed previously, actually.
Yeah, I think it's like April of next year or something like that. It's also
rhythm-
apparently a completely original show.
Gymnastics. Sorry, is that the? Oh, so it's not an adaptation of a manga.
No.
Exciting, like a Studio Trigger situation. Is that the one that takes place on like the big floor mat where they're flipping around and jumping? Is that
I'm
rhythmic
not
gymnastics?
Completely sure. Like I think that might just be like a floor routine.
Okay, just a part of it then.
Yeah. Because
I
I don't remember
know anything
like how much that normally goes to the music. But that's what I'm saying. Like I know almost nothing about this sport.
Well, excellent. I'm glad there's something that's come up that can get you into it, though.
Yeah,
we love that.
Things I've seen. Obviously, there's the big ones like Attack on Titan.
Well, actually, that's coming out in
Season 5.
December.
Yeah,
Right?
that's coming out.
Does anyone know if that's is that like going to be a weekly drop, or is it just all going to come out at once?
And it's not on Netflix.
True, it's
So-
not. It's not.
Then you've got things like Rising of the Shield Hero is getting a second series as well,
Oh,
which actually gives me a reason to watch the first one.
I was just
Because
thinking
I
the same thing.
I missed the boat completely on Shield.
I have
Hero,
heard
so
it's good.
It'd be nice to watch it.
I've heard it's
It'd
one
be
of the
nice to have a
better-
reason to watch it.
Isekai, is that what it's Isekai?
Isekai.
Yeah,
Yeah.
isekais. It's one of those. I think it's one of those isekais that, to me, just didn't look like an isekai. It looked more like it was just like a nice hero adventure,
Yeah.
and the isekai thing was kind of secondary. Whereas a lot of them are like more. They're very like this guy's been seriously fucked in a world. Like,
Yeah.
just dropped it. He just looks like a regular dude. But I think with what's his name, Naofumi,
Naofumi, yeah.
like he looks the part.
Yeah.
Like he actually looks like he doesn't look out of place in the world, which
It's just
I think will
the
maybe make
isekai-
that seem a bit more coherent.
I feel like for
me.
stuff like that, the element of isekai is just so that there's a reason for them to explain things to the character as it goes through. There's also excitingly the final, I think, arc of Bleach is
Yes,
being
I heard about
animated
that.
at long last. Now, I am not a fan of Bleach. I have never watched it, but if it's finally getting finished, maybe I'll check it out. I don't want to.
74 volumes.
I like to wait until
how many?
things
500
are
episodes.
like finished before I start watching them, which is why most of the anime that I watch is like old. Actually, just this week, I finally started watching Cowboy Bebop after like
Yeah, I've never seen
forever
that.
of needing to see it, and it's just like the most gorgeous thing I've ever seen. It's my precise.
Yeah, I haven't seen a lot of it, but everything I've seen of it, I love. I think I've
Yeah.
seen probably like 7 episodes.
I think I'm about to get super into 90s anime after this, honestly.
Okay. It feels aesthetically like that would match you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I really like a 90s aesthetic and like what's it called? Like cassette futurism, I think. One cool thing about like a blend of like cyberpunk and cassette futurism, I think, where it has like some like sort of noir aspects, but then it's also got like literally just like the tech in the future being kind of Star Trek-y or like Futurama, where it's all like cassette based and stuff, so you can't really place like when it's supposed to be from. One of the things that I like about Cowboy Bebop is that it really does maintain that cowboy aesthetic, not by it being super Western, but just like it's way in the future. They've got like spaceships and stuff, but they're still using like Tommy guns and stuff. So like the weaponry is very.
I enjoy stuff like that.
Going back to Bleach quickly, just because Mark, you seemed quite surprised when I said it has 74 volumes.
That is what you said. Yeah, I thought that the anime was really long just because there was like a bunch of filler arcs. I didn't think it was really long because the manga was colossal as well.
No, the
How
manga
many
is colossal.
chapters
I
is
didn't realize it was colossal either. I mean, I'm up to chapter like 600-ish of One Piece, and I believe that's around volume 55 to 60.
Yeah,
so it must be
60,
nearing like 800 chapters.
That's okay. I'm a recent adopter of One Piece. And one thing I always say to shonen fans who are like, I don't have the time to get into One Piece. Like, I get that, but there are many people who will criticize One Piece for being like, oh my god, there's 900 and something chapters right now, and I'm like, Naruto, one of the most popular and well-beloved animes in the West, the manga is 700 chapters. That's
it's not
wild.
even that good.
It's not even that good.
Look. I'm not getting into Naruto.
No,
again
you had a full stream yesterday, right?
Yeah, I had a full stream with Stargirl on Naruto, and I'm not speaking about Naruto ever again until we get her on this podcast.
That is
that's the next
completely-
time I'm
need
going to
one-
talk about Naruto, and hopefully the last.
You need 1 week where you don't talk about it, because you definitely talked about it last time.
Yeah.
I think we said
talked
that.
about
I think I
Naruto
said that
last
in the
time as
first
well,
episode. That I said I don't want Naruto to become a recurring segment. This is the third episode where we have talked about Naruto. To be fair, we haven't talked about it yet. We just mentioned it.
No,
And-
we've
If
mentioned
we
it's-
move on
and-
swiftly enough, we can pretend it never happened.
Lucky for you, I have never seen or read any single chapter or single episode of Naruto.
Oh, fantastic! Then that's the perfect
That's
excuse.
great. Yeah, let's fucking move on swiftly.
Has anyone been watching the new episodes of Haikyuu?
I haven't yet,
No.
and I really want to.
It's
but
airing.
The animation
and it keeps
looks
evading.
weird.
Yeah, that's what
So,
I've heard.
yeah.
I keep forgetting that it's on again.
Yeah,
So I
I've been
haven't
kind of
been
waiting
watching
for the
any
whole
of the new
season to come
episodes.
out. That's what I always do. I wait
That's
and then I
another
binge it.
one. Haikyuu has 40 volumes.
Oh Jesus, that's finished at
Yeah,
least. Though,
That's
now,
why I
right?
can't ever get on the
yeah,
wiki.
it's finished.
Every time I get on the wiki, it gives me a spoiler.
Yeah.
It's 40 I did not realize that it was going to be so many. I knew when because I think Daniel told me, he was like, oh yeah, it's like the second longest running shonen at the moment, just behind One Piece.
But it just finished,
and
didn't
when
it?
he said it just finished at like 40 volumes. It was the longest running, and now it's obviously finished now. I feel like the longest running now would be maybe Blue Exorcist, at least on Shonen Jump. The longest running Shonen Jump would be Blue Exorcist at the moment.
There's Hunter x Hunter never counts because it's had so many fucking breaks.
Yeah, so many hiatus.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
can't think of many other.
currently. I have to keep
long-running
adding
series.
little points to this. Currently running Shonen Jump series.
Yeah,
I think it's Blue Exorcist. I could be wrong, but yeah, Haikyuu. Because when Daniel said it was just behind One Piece, my brain instantly went, "Oh yeah, One Piece is fucking massive, so of course it's just behind One Piece." And I was expecting like 27 volumes
Yeah.
of Haikyuu, and then I looked and I'm like, "Oh boy, that's gonna fill one of my shelves entirely."
I love that.
Yeah.
I do love your shelves, by the
Also-
way. Can we talk about your shelves?
Thank you. Yeah, we can talk about my shelves. I love my shelves.
Every time I
really
see a
love my
picture
shelves.
of them, like either it's on Snapchat or Instagram, like you posted your set list for Sunday's live show, which is exciting.
Yeah.
You post the set list of that, kind of sellotaped onto your shelf, and I was just like, man, I wish I had big manga
Yeah.
shelves, because that is
Yeah.
it's just something aesthetically pleasing about volumes of manga.
Especially
don't
with
know-
those. If you build the shelves yourself, I think there's just like an extra level of like pride / like home coziness.
I mean, I had a whole experience the first time
I
built
remember.
those shelves.
I watched the story unravel live as you posted it to
Oh
Instagram.
god,
Yeah, I was running off like I think I'd been up for like 26 hours
Yeah.
that day, and it was at like I think it was 4 a.m. I decided to buy a shelf, and I realized I could get it next day delivered. Like, and by next day it meant that day, so it got delivered in like 5 hours. And so I was like, well, I need to wait for this shelf now. And I was just there, like, waiting, and then it came, and then I was just like, you know what, I'm going to document this because I think I'm going to go insane.
You weren't
And
wrong.
if I want this, if this is my last moment, I want it to be recorded.
This is my last moment. I want it to be content.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I'm such that's why I'm such a like spine guy when it comes to manga. I'm not.
Hey, are you
actually,
like a femur guy or a spine guy?
I'm a chiropractor. I'm such a spine guy. No, I really am like such a like visual, like how it's gonna look when they're all stacked on the shelves. Not so much what it looks like on the front, because I don't really see that as much. So that's why I don't want to buy Attack on Titan, because it looks so ugly in the spines. The spines are awful. They're brown. They're all the fucking same. The I don't even like the font that much. However, they do have these colossal editions that are like huge
nice.
and red, which look much nicer. They look much nicer.
Weirdly, one of my favorite
them.
kind of manga spines are the single edition volumes of One Piece. I really enjoy, because they are very eclectic when they're all next to each other, but I still like that. And Dragon Ball, the spines of Dragon Ball, the classic Dragon Ball, are very nice.
I've been looking at Dragon Ball recently because I'm like, do I take the dip and finally consume some Dragon Ball content, or do I?
I think you would really
facade?
enjoy Dragon Ball.
Yeah,
kind of
I feel like
previous to
maybe
the
just
Raditz
buying
arc.
I feel like just buying the original series would.
And I don't think it's that
probably be
long.
A good gambit. No, it's like 16 volumes.
Yeah, which is nice.
I've
That's
looked
like
at it, yeah.
consumable.
Do you read much manga, Freeced?
The only manga that I've ever read any sizable amount of is One Piece. And I have a hard time reading comics that are in black and white unless they are like comic strips. I don't know why. I just cannot focus on them. So like, yeah, I don't tend to go for like the books. But I do have read Shao. I have read The Way of Shao. That's the other one that I've read.
Ah, nice. Yes,
I still need to purchase that. It sounds very interesting.
Oh yeah, he's working on volume 2 as well, I think.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah.
I used to read a lot of Marvel comics
Oh yeah. Me too.
before I got into manga, and it was jarring going from full color, Guardians of the Galaxy into black and white volumes, and I was just like, oh, how do I tell what's going on? There was moments of the first series that I really read a lot of was Naruto, and there's like a good way into Shippuden where it's just like I can't follow some of these fights. It's just nonsense.
Yeah.
But I think it's one of those things where it's like you need to learn the visual language of manga in a way where it's like there are certain visual cues and shortcuts that artists use that is like very common in manga, but if you haven't ever read manga, you're reading it like, what is happening?
Yeah, I'm hoping that after I
Where
get
are we going?
far enough through One Piece, because I'm reading that in color, online. So like I'm hoping once I get far enough into that, I'll have kind of like deciphered that language enough to sort of like apply it to other stuff. Because there's lots of other stuff that I want to read, especially because like, the list of stuff that I want to be familiar with keeps growing, and my like amount of time to watch stuff keeps getting smaller.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, I'd love to be on a cipher and like have read the manga for it and not just be like scouring the wiki.
Yeah, that's always tough. I have a few kind of obscure manga as well, which like I have the Pokemon Adventures manga.
Oh, I'm a big
the
Pokemon
first
Adventures
7
fan.
of that.
How much of that do you
I
have,
really
by
want
the
to start
way?
reading that. How much manga do I have?
Yeah.
I did a count today because I.
Oh, specifically
recently
just of
ordered
the
a lot of
Pokemon
One Piece.
manga.
Oh, just the first 7
Yeah.
at the moment.
Oh, okay.
So the first, I bought like the first box set.
And then after that, it goes into like Silver and Gold, right?
Then it goes, yeah. Then right. So I'm going to ask you about this. it goes into Heart Gold and Soul Silver, and it continues as volumes 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, up to 14. Then it goes into Emerald, and I'm going to assume it then carries on into, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Then we hit Diamond and Pearl, and it fucks off back to 1.
Does it really? Because
it makes me so angry.
I have all of the first 7, and then I have all of Gold and Silver. But I've only read the original series. I haven't actually started reading Gold and Silver yet. I'm not really sure what the structure of the series is. If it like changes and follows a different character, if it's a different story.
Yeah. It really made me mad when I saw that, because I was like, why are you the same series but you're different volume numbers? It's like, yeah. And then I also have the Zelda mangas as well. I got the legendary editions of them.
One of those, which is Ocarina of Time. But I bought that originally because I was like, I didn't like the game that much, which I know is a controversial opinion. But I have the game on N64, and I was like, I don't think I can finish this. I'll just read the manga. And I've yet to read it.
I completely missed a lot of the Zelda games, so it would be nice to get the story of them in that form in a bit quicker than playing like a 16-hour playthrough of a game.
Yeah.
Although I did obviously play Phantom Hourglass, my favorite Zelda game, which is a very hot take.
It is a hot take.
That is a very, very hot take. I love Phantom Hourglass so much. So much. It's like Phantom Hourglass, Twilight Princess, Breath of the Wild for me. They're like top 3.
Oh, you must have meant to say Princess Twilight.
Princess Twilight, shut up. He's not. He wasn't here for the horse music, Freeced.
That was far beyond me. I knew bronies. I did know them.
They existed.
I didn't realize. No, I just didn't realize that it was ever even a thing.
Yeah.
So when I was like, I then now look back and I'm like, oh, he was a brony. Oh,
that's hilarious.
Yeah.
That's
like,
honestly a lot of I think a lot of people who aren't involved with the fandom at all now, but are still musicians, wouldn't even be musicians if it weren't for that community. Because it encouraged so many kinds of creativity, like that, and visual art.
There are some crazy names from within the brony community that are now just big artists and YouTubers and all sorts. Black Griffin.
Yep.
Yeah, I figured that out recently as well.
Crazy.
Yeah.
There's also a few we don't talk about, but anyway, speaking of ponies and anime, there is this figurine collection. And I cannot remember what it's got. It's got some fucking Japanese name. And I was like, you know what? That'd actually be cool to own. It's like these anime girl versions of the main 6 from the show. I was like, you know what? That would actually be really cool. They look really well made, and they're visually very striking. They came out last year. I saw them at Gamescom when I was with Rustage. I was like, I wonder how much they are. It's a six figurine set. And each of them individually goes from anywhere between 150 to 400 pounds.
Wow. So can I see them?
Oh, that's tough.
Yeah, so I have the box here. And I was like, wow, devastating. It would cost me about, I think it was like £1,700 for the full set.
God.
Which is wild. But yeah, unfortunate. I've just been really
We'll
into anime figurines and stuff recently, so I just wanted a cool collectible.
Second channel unboxing video, business expense.
There you go. That's not wrong. I was really depressed earlier when my mum said to me, "Oh, can you buy your Christmas gifts this year and just run it through as a business expense?"
No,
wow,
that's not allowed. That's not allowed.
I said, it's Christmas. She was like, "Yeah, if you get clothes, you can say it's like uniform." I was like,
"A uniform?
It's Christmas. I'm worried about tax at Christmas."
I'll cut this bit out so that the government doesn't think your mum is a tax fraud.
Your mom is
for legal reasons. For legal reasons, that was a joke.
That's a joke. For legal reasons, that's a joke.
Your mom is getting the full Jimmy Carr treatment. This is going out live.
Right. Well, I think tax evasion leads us nicely into the next segment, which is one of the last segments, and we've been going for a decent amount of time, so we'll speed through these. I did ask Freeced to prepare a song that he wanted to share from artist.
I forgot what our final segment was. I thought he was just going to perform for us.
I can grab my ukulele right now. There's still time.
Sorry, yes, that is the segment, isn't
guess
it?
who has 2 functional hands and knows a song?
Oh, gosh.
So while Mark looks for a song to promote, Freeced, what is the artist and or song that you would like to shine a bit more light on?
So it's the Goldie Roger rap by Politicus featuring Professor Kuro. And the reason that I like this song is because, well, like, first of all, I'm not that far in One Piece. I don't really know, like, about the character. But, like, Politicus's, like, vocal style on the song is so hype and is, like, so catchy, it's infectious. So I really like it for that reason. The hook is just, like, gets stuck in your head. But also, it's, like, one of the first times that I've heard Kuro finally be able to, like, combine those bars that he's known for. Because, like, everybody knows that Kuro has bars. Like, from a writing standpoint, he's like, really strong. But he actually, like, his, like, recording technique and delivery, I feel like has, like, stepped up recently. And so it just hits, like, so much harder than it has before. And I assume, like, it's gonna just, like, I don't know. I feel like it's just like that new, like, level, and it's gonna keep going up. So, like, yeah, I see a lot of potential in this song. So I just want, So that's mine. The
very
Goldie Roger rap, Politicus featuring
Honestly,
Professor Kuro.
I've been a fan of Politicus in the last few months. I just like a lot of the stuff he's been putting out.
Yeah.
It's a rough around the edges, but I enjoy it stylistically.
I really like our Zoro track. I really
like
that
song
one
as well.
has the bar that's like it has the Three Musketeers bar in it, doesn't it? Where it's like I'm like the Three Musketeers, but it's just me. Is that the one?
One man looking like I'm Three Musketeers.
Yeah.
There we
Got
go.
enough to pierce your whole dead careers.
Is that the song? Is
Mark,
that the
why
song
didn't you
that
give
has
me that song earlier? I can remember those.
Sorry,
lyrics.
isn't that the song that has the bar after bar after bar, like the saws or something?
It's not got a chorus. Yeah.
Is
Mark,
it my
your
turn?
Song, your spotlight. Yes, your turn.
There's an artist called Young Flex who I recently discovered. That's YUNG Flex, like to flex. Very abrasive, loud, aggressive rap music that's like rock influenced, but also quite tongue in cheek and sometimes humorous and fun. Which is something that is oftentimes missing from that style. You know, you get the very hardcore, emo kind of sad, aggressive, angry type of music that tends to be very, very serious. But what I like about Young Flex is it's very well done in that style, while also kind of being self-aware. That's the word I was looking for. Self-aware, which I very much enjoy. But yeah,
it's called Young Flex.
It's called Young Flex, which is great.
Yeah.
And he works with a producer called Czer, Sorei a lot, which I've recently been looking at. I think Game Boy Jones, on my recommendation, is actually leasing a beat from them. It's very within that punchy, bassy, aggressive, distorted style that I just recently have been going crazy for. But yeah, Young Flex. Oh, a specific song? Basic. It's called Basic.
Basic. Sweet. All right. Well, my song, I'm not sure if we've featured him already. I don't think we have, but Coraline by Sky Limits.
Very good.
On repeat for me recently.
Yes.
And I missed the album drop, definitely. But it must have just come up in my Spotify, and then I saw Sailor was on it as well. So I was like, and I knew he was doing a video. So I was like, I'll listen to this and listen to it. I mean, that chorus is so catchy, and the fact that we watched Coraline recently as well influenced me.
That's so funny. I had
so
just watched
fun.
Coraline before, like, noticing that song came out. So it's like the same for me.
It was a very, very odd timing.
We're just all watching Caroline now.
Yeah, and the chorus is so catchy. I love Sailor's kind of singy rappy parts. I think they're definitely some of her better flow portions.
That kind of instrumental
that
is
she's
just really
written.
good for her, I think.
Oh yeah. And
Shout out to Stark, the producer.
Yeah, Stark did a really good job. I just love how, again, the melody, it's like that thing with Behind That Smile. The melody and the vocals blends with the beat, and I can't tell which is which I really like. It's a and it's
so
all
good.
like it's so good. And
I talked to Sky a little bit about that album, and I think that's the song where some of the synthy lines are actually his vocal that Stark used to pitch around.
Yeah,
I think it's that
that's
track.
Cool. That's cool. There's a really subtle thing as well in like where it goes into the second half of the chorus, where the only thing that seems to be added is the snare, but it just sounds so good. Maybe a couple ad libs here and there, but it just sounds like it completely changes and really ramps up. But it's like you literally just started playing a snare, and like I don't know how he did that, but yeah, really good track. And I imagine the whole album is good as well.
I've described it as I think a 20-track album. I think
so. Yeah.
And it's a 20-track album with one skip for me, which is a very, very good hit rate.
Yeah,
so,
very good. Right, well, that brings us to the final segment of the show, which is always my favorite, honestly. And you'll just have to give me a moment while I scroll to find this, because it's possibly the segment, by the way, is the bad comment. The bad comment of the show.
I love
which
this.
we always try and get. And these are always my favorite because they are just so ridiculous. They are just so ridiculous. Here we go. So this is the context behind this comment. It's on my Jinchuriki rap, which also, by the way, just hit 1 million views on YouTube. So thank you everyone for watching the
Incredible.
Jinchuriki rap. Very, very unexpected.
Well deserved.
Yeah.
Because you were the only one brave enough.
Yeah, it really was. Definitely unexpected to have that kind of level of appreciation on it. So thank you so much for that. And this comment makes it all worth it, honestly. Because this man says, wow, Rustage's voice matches so well with Sasuke. And that really just made the whole thing worth it for me. You know, Rustage as Sasuke, the nine-tailed fox.
Yeah, Sasuke the nine-tailed. Can you imagine? I want to see that story. I want to read that story.
Yeah. Sasuke Uzumaki. Make it happen, Kishimoto.
Okay.
Parallel universe.
Thank you for that.
I never liked that comment either. I'm going to give it a heart. I agree.
Yeah, I agree.
Rustage's voice does match well with Sasuke.
It does match well with Sasuke.
Well, I think that is all we have time for today.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Freeced, for coming on such short notice onto this podcast.
Thanks
Very
for having
much
me.
Appreciate it. Yes, and you know you're part of the first live podcast as well, which is exciting. This will probably just be on audio form in most places, but you can always catch the VOD before it gets deleted in 14 days, which happens.
He's not even going
sounds
to
like a
save it
threat.
as a highlight.
Maybe I will.
He has the option to save it as a highlight to his Twitch channel. He said, no, if you weren't here, you weren't here.
Even if you
missed
save
out.
it to your hard drive, we will come and delete it in 14 days. You have 48 hours.
to comply.
Deliver
This VOD
unmarked
will
bills.
self-destruct.
So yeah, Freeced, do you want to drop some of your socials just so people know where to find you?
Sure. Find me. Well, first, find me on YouTube. Just youtube.com/Freeced. That's the main place. Find me on Twitter at @MeFreeced. You can find me on Instagram at FreecedRaps. I'm not great at posting there. Definitely listen to my song UK Bias, in which I ask Connor Quest to marry me and mention that I would like to have a baby with Schwabity.
Fantastic. Mark, they know where to find us. We don't need to do any.
Yeah, whatever.
Any of those things.
If you're here,
can you?
they probably know us.
Can you remember the outro that we did last time? Because I can't.
It was something about a quest. You said like, and that's your next. Join us next time, adventurers. Something like that.
Yeah. Join us next time, adventurers, for a conquest.